Welcome to the Sketch Zone podcast.
And Sketch Zone podcast is on the air.
Yes, sir.
What's up?
Carlos, and with this, we're talking to this guy who has he said Casio, Rolex. You guys just can't get it right. This guy started. He's a time designer. He's a brand creator. And he has officially come up with the solution to BPT, Justin Eterovich!
Hey, what's up, guys?
Justin is in the house, folks.
He's just gonna let him go at. He's gonna go at Casio like that? Really?
Right?
That's what we're gonna do. That's what you're gonna put in Justin's life.
This episode has been brought to you by Casio, or formerly known as Casio. The opinions expressed by Carlos Gomez and not those of the Sketch Zone podcast.
Coming for you.
That giggle in the corner, that's Charlie B. Williams.
What's up, Sketch Zone Nation? How is everybody doing? I'm here again.
Sketch Zone Nation.
Yeah, I'm trying to make that a thing. Hashtag Sketch Zone Nation. Let's go.
It's more like a village, but I'll let you have
Hey,
it.
Jack, it takes a village.
It does take a village. Ah, there you go.
And that guy right there, that's Jack Kasperzak.
That's me. I'm not even gonna do an in-focus intro because Charlie gonna make fun of me.
No, Jack, I gotta tell you, you put your deep voice on at the beginning of the show, made my heart stop. I like it. Do it more often.
Pause.
Really? You gonna do that to me? Okay, cool.
Oh.
That's a good pause. Yeah, whatever. So, Jack, when Jack gets louder, I listen.
Oh boy.
Yes.
E.F. Hutton. You guys remember E.F. Hutton from back in the day? When E.F. Hutton speaks, everyone listens.
Wait, what? What? Jack.
Me, you guys.
Jack, please.
You're old as all hell.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Oh, he didn't give you the cricket.
You know what's new? You know what's new and fresh and not that old?
Not as old as you? What?
Automotive.com has officially launched. People are signing up at rapid pace. And then Justin is looking at us like, who?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, Justin. Artella.com is a website where creatives of all types can go and collaborate on different projects. So if you're a writer, concept artist, if you're a 3D modeler, I believe they're letting 2D projects happen.
Ruffians.
2D perfect.
I believe
2D ruffians.
I believe they're letting those 2D thugs on the site. Sophisticated 3D folks are mingling with the 2D lower class.
Just let you guys get off my computer.
Sorry. They might even let Flash projects on there, Carlos. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Too soon?
That's rough.
Yes.
All of a sudden, Charlie got kicked out of this meeting. I don't even know you sometimes, dude.
I'm so sorry.
Go at me all.
You gotta applaud the effort. You know, when you know you have a gym, you just have to say it. But I'm sorry.
Yes.
That hurts. Yeah, I hope they do have Flash projects.
Yes.
Go Cubs. Go Cubs.
Whoops.
Olive bread. Feel bad after this.
Oh no!
They're only the best team in the entire league.
Exactly, including the White Sox.
They're a lot like Flash.
You can have to tell 'em. That's it. I'm done.
They're a lot like Flash. Oh God.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
The Indiana Clodhoppers are doing so wonderfully in the Major League Baseball arena.
They're doing good in the minor leagues, man. They're bringing up good talent,
Mm-hmm.
so that they can beat
Moving on.
the
So
less shittier teams like Prince. I'm gonna keep going.
Artella is a new way of uh, like using your social network to help make projects happen. Have any of you guys signed up or even investigated it at all?
I have investigated. I have not signed up.
Yeah, I looked, but I did not go back for the launch. I need to go back and sign up.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm a stalk. I feel like you stalk that site until you find something worth talking to somebody about. If that makes sense. If you see a product that interests you, but I definitely need to get on there and window stalk them a little bit before I see anything that interests me.
Yeah, I signed up and I took a look around. I haven't put up any of my artwork. I'm imagining just maybe doing like some concept work or something. If there is a Flash project, Artella, I'm here for you. But yeah, Artella is open for business. Go get it.
It's a cool idea. Yeah, go check it out.
Yeah. So then I wanted to talk to Mr. Justin about social networks and building projects and stuff, because I do believe you successfully ran a Kickstarter campaign there, son.
Yeah, I did.
Kickstarter success story. Let's hear it.
That's right. So before we get into Kickstarter, let's go back to Baby Justin.
I don't know if you want to go back to Baby Justin.
actually, Baby Justin was born. It's going to be your birthday here in the next couple weeks, huh?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, the big 24.
I can't even. Holy crap!
Don't dwell on it.
Solid times that you guys made my joints just lock up. I'm gonna be the ripe old age of 24.
Yo, pause.
Holy crap.
Okay.
It's
okay, Justin. Carl's having a senior moment. It's all right.
Yeah.
I know.
He'll get
All
through
right.
it.
We'll let him catch up.
Yes.
Yeah. Metamucil.
There it is. Drink your Alka-Seltzer.
Get that Metamucil.
Oh man.
So where are you from originally?
I'm from the Sonoma County area. Yeah, born and raised, pretty much.
What?
Whole life.
Nice.
What's that like?
I don't know. I lived in Sebastopol for a while and did that whole scene. And when I was younger, I thought it was pretty hippie, and now I think it's all right. So
You're like, it's okay.
I'm like, yeah. After visiting other areas of the United States, I'm like, Sebastopol's not so bad.
Nice.
What's I know we were talking about before the show, and to break the suspense, Justin and I are buddies. We hang out from time to time.
Sorry,
We're
Justin.
Facebook friends, and I saw that he was hanging out in Atlanta just earlier this week. What was Atlanta like?
Well, we didn't really get too much into the heart of Atlanta. It's kind of cheating to say that we visited Atlanta because we were really at a racetrack the entire week. So, I mean, visiting Atlanta, yeah, we kind of drove through Atlanta in a minivan packed with, 7 dudes. But other than that, it was, it was packed. But other than that, yeah, it was kind of just racetrack life.
Yeah. So you're besides Atlanta, what are some of the other places that you visited that made you think Sebastopol is not so bad?
Well, I mean, you don't even have to go very far. You go down to Oakland, and Sebastopol ain't that bad.
That's great.
That's awesome. So
Vallejo, Sebastopol ain't that bad,
yeah, Vallejo's, yeah. Yeah, I went golfing in Vallejo. You have to go through this part of town that literally looks like The Walking Dead happened. So you drive through this, and you have to go through all these abandoned buildings and stuff, and then you get to like this real glorious uh, golf course that overlooks the bay, and it's just really dramatic. But yeah, Vallejo was it was Walking Dead. So then, as a kid, you came up. What was it that you wanted to be when you were a kid?
Honestly, I had no freaking clue. I just wanted to be successful and drive fancy cars. That's about it. And I didn't really know. Went to the junior college and started on a business class. Decided I liked it, and now I have a business degree.
Nice.
Yeah, that's you went into like business marketing, right?
Yeah, that's.
And then at what point did you think to yourself, this Casio just doesn't do it for me.
Oh, you
I
keep
need,
calling it
Well,
Casio.
I need to make my own watch.
Are they even relevant right now?
I mean, kind of.
I'm kidding.
Well, so
Trying to help them out. Go ahead.
I bought a watch. It was like $300, and that was a lot of money when I was like 19, 18, and I tried it on and wore it for a while, and I was kind of didn't really do anything for me. I didn't like it, and I was like in the business classes, and I was like, well, I've seen all these watch projects on Kickstarter become super successful. Like, why can't I do that? Like, why can't I design something and that I actually like? Because I couldn't find a single watch that I really wanted and like that I could afford. Obviously, and like a Rolex, but and it just spiraled from there. It got really crazy.
So what was the main thing that got you then from like the $300 watch that you bought? Like what? I guess you had to identify what did you want in a watch in general. Was it like just the big faces of the watch that you liked, or like what really like kind of how'd you figure out what you wanted in a watch in terms of design?
Well, I knew I wanted something really clean. Now, when you look at a lot of these, sub $1,000 watches, they got a lot going on, and I wanted just a very clean dial, and I really wanted a watch with carbon fiber as the dial, and that was the main thing that really drove the business and the watch design forward. Was there? I looked at all the carbon fiber dial watches, and they were all pretty ugly, to be honest. And so I just started designing and contacting suppliers and went from there.
Well, let's talk about your approach to designing a watch. Do you generally have an idea in mind and then you just rough it out? Is there a watch supplier that says, here's all the material that you can play with, go play? How does that work?
Well, yes and no. Well, in the design process, I sketched it out, right? I drew a picture, and it was a very crappy picture. I'm not very good at drawing, and I have horrible penmanship. So I drew this really
Nice.
crappy picture, and I said, "Here, make this. How do you make this?" And they said, "Well, that's going to be $5,000." And I was like, "Holy crap! Why didn't I just buy the Rolex?" But yeah, so I mean, I started working with a designer, and the first company that I worked with, unfortunately, was not very good and took a long time to design. We went through a 4-month design process just for one of the models that I ended up changing anyways. But I mean, the design process is slow, and that company was in Switzerland, based out of Switzerland, and they had third-party designers, and it just ended up not working out. So I moved to a different company and had a lot more success. So
Do they Did they hook you up with these third-party designers just because you were a new guy? And they're like, this isn't going to go anywhere. Might as well just send them some third-party.
Yeah, so I think that's a huge part of it because they charge me like, I don't know, $4,000 just for the technical drawings and the design work. And I was like 19 years old, and I'd saved up everything I had, to do this, from cleaning pools in the summer. And I pay them, and I get the technical drawings. I'm like, all right, now how much do the actual watches? Like, oh, it's going to be another 4,000. I'm like, all right, screw you guys. So I went with this other company, and they don't even charge for the technical stuff. So you got to kind of be careful when you're in the manufacturing business because there's a lot of shiesty folks out there, and unfortunately, my first run-in was with one. So.
Well, now you're in the game, right? It's how many different styles of watch do you have?
Well, I have a lot of different styles, per se, but the case is the same on most of them because the case manufacturing is the hardest part because you have to order 500 at a time. So I can do different dials inside of the same case, and that kind of makes it a different variation of the same watch for different people's styles, different colors, and etc.
So why does the case have a cap requirement and the dials don't? Is it just the manufacturer limitation?
Well, the cases, the tooling is much more intricate and just a lot. Like,
and so when you're talking about the case, and when you're talking about the cases, you mean like the actual metal and face rim and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, just everything here.
Right.
Case,
okay.
bracelet. Yeah. And the dials. I mean, the minimum quantity for dials is like 100. So it's still pretty high, but it's not nearly as high as the cases. And I guess that's just because the tooling just costs more money.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the variation between grade A plus, which is a couple $1,000 watches, and grade like B plus is huge. The tooling cost for the really expensive watches is about $3,000-$4,000. That's before you can get anything, compared to around $300 or $400. Tooling is definitely a big expense.
And in terms of your watches, how big are these watches? Do they go up in size the more expensive they get? And like, I'm wondering in terms of weight. One of the reasons why I don't wear watches much is because I tend to not like the weight of a watch is on my wrist, especially on my arm. What'd you say?
These are good boy watches, son.
So they're huge. So they're heavy.
Big boy watches.
Yeah, I mean the first models were definitely pretty big. I went with a 48 millimeter because back 4 or 5 years ago, however long I designed them, that was a big hot trend. Now I'm tapering downward and moving more towards the automatic side instead of quartz. But yeah, they're pretty heavy. I mean, you could always go with the titanium watch, and those you won't even feel on your wrist.
Cool.
So talk to us about why Switzerland gets such notoriety for a Swiss-made watch. What is it that they do?
Well, I guess the Swiss has just been known for watches for many years, hundreds of years. And for some reason, I don't really know why. I mean, you could have the same plants, the same factories working in the United States and Hong Kong. It doesn't really matter. It's all quality of materials and, tolerances and quality control, really. But for some reason, yeah, the Swiss, they just have it locked down. Now, the interesting thing about Swiss made is you got to be careful because Swiss made, there's not very many requirements for having your watch to be Swiss made. There's only really 3, and it's to be cased up in Switzerland, to have a Swiss movement, and I believe it's 50% more, or 50% of the watch is cost is from Switzerland or something like that. So a lot of these watches that you'll see in the sub $2,000 range actually are manufactured in part mostly in other regions of the world, like China. So, but however, that is going to be changing pretty soon.
Why is that?
Just kind of to make the Swiss-made label hold more weight. Because right now, you're seeing Swiss-made watches that can be as cheap as $250, and other ones that go up to $50,000, $200,000 watches.
Whoa.
So they're kind of just they want to make Swiss-made be made in Switzerland. So
Right.
everything.
What makes a watch so expensive? Just the materials?
Just I think what a lot of it is, now I don't know because I don't really work, with watches that are that expensive, but I would have to say R&D. It's R&D and just the what someone will pay for something, right? If they can charge $50,000 because someone will pay $50,000, they'll do it. If it costs them $5,000 to make, I mean, a Rolex is about $8,000, but it does not cost that much to make it. Doesn't cost nearly that much to make it. The materials is just steel and the movements that they've been making forever.
So you're saying you're paying for the name more so? The prestige and the history, nostalgia of that.
Absolutely. But then again, if you buy a Rolex and you throw it in a safe for 50 years, you could pretty much sell it for exactly how much you bought it for. So that's one watch that is like currency and is definitely a recommended purchase at some point.
So I want to point out this one right here. This is a Swiss watch. And it says only 50 will be made. Own 1 out of 50. I have in my grubby little hands.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
All right.
I have number 20, but I'm dyslexic, so it's upside down. No, that's right.
That's number 50.
20.
The last one.
Yes, and let me tell you, Justin, my boy, all that stuff, but for real, I look forward to wearing this watch. This is such a cool watch to wear, and like you said, it's nice and simple. It's it doesn't have all the gadgets and Mickey Mouse waving his hands around and jumping up and down.
And let me tell you something about that watch. I got the delivery of all of the watches on Christmas Eve. Okay? Christmas Eve. I got 15 boxes showing up, stacked up, huge boxes. And I'm all, what the hell? We're getting ready to go have dinner at my aunt's house. I'm about 45 minutes away from going to have dinner. I'm all, holy crap. And then I, was reminded that Carlos here was waiting for his watch, which was a Christmas present. So I said, oh, geez. Now I started ripping through boxes and stuff, trying to find, the right ones. And I got about 2 or 3 of them delivered in time to Sam when he was able to bring them over for Christmas. So you were able to get it on Christmas. I did that for you, just saying.
You're so spoiled, Carlos.
I am. I'm not going to lie. Well,
customer service.
I got some very special people in my life.
Nice.
So this was 2 years ago, and I need to remind you guys that last year, Christmas Eve, I was opening my coolest cooler.
Oh my gosh. Worst decision of your life?
Not wait. I cannot wait for this year's Christmas. I don't know what Santa has in store for me, but if I can go from Blacklist to Coolest Cooler, I don't know.
It won't be from Kickstarter though this year.
So you actually got one. Because there's like thousands of people who have not.
Me and Santa got an understanding.
I have not.
He got one that was broken though.
No, wait, yeah, but now it's fixed, dude. Stop.
But when you got it.
It was no.
Oh, you broke it.
Blacklist watches. Yeah, son.
It's a sore spot for him. So how'd you come up with the name, Justin?
It's kind of a weird story. I just was like browsing, Instagram and saw that this Blacklist was like a trending term for like exotic luxury kind of stuff.
Really?
And I was like, that's kind of cool, like Blacklist, and I was like toying it around and throwing it at people, and they were like, that's kind of cool, because the whole idea behind my watches is not very many are produced, so it's kind of like a luxury, like rare item, and I kind of took a little spin on that and calling it Blacklist, like not everyone can have it,
Nice, yeah.
Good thing you weren't watching sitcoms. You probably would have named it Blackish.
Yeah.
Michael.
No, but
Thank you. Thank you.
No, but so the show, The Blacklist, came out about 2 months before my launch, and
man.
I was like, so what's this mean? I contacted my trademark lawyer and I said, what the hell is going on here? He says, well, it's not a whole lot you can do, and there's not a whole lot, what are you gonna do? Go up against a major, station? Like, no. So
did you already have a website and stuff?
I had the website, everything, but the problem is now is you can type in Blacklist and that's all you'll see. You'll never ever be able to get to just my website by typing in Blacklist. You have to type in Blacklist watches. Not even Blacklist watch, because that'll just go to like TV shows. Talking about getting screwed, I got screwed the hardest you can get screwed. Like, I did my prelim searches. There's nothing going on.
You can find a harder way.
I just did. I was like, as the show was starting, I was pulling up the site. I was like, why are we getting the Blacklist? Because I put Blacklist watch.
Right.
And then it gave me the times of the Blacklist.
Right. So
Phenomenal show. Not what I wanted. Four or five things down, you'll see Justin. He's right there. He's still on the front page of Google search, but you just gotta go down 2 or 3 spots.
Am I on there?
Yeah, you're on there.
Just on what?
I did Blacklist watch.
Oh yeah.
And then
gotta throw that S in there.
Yeah.
Watches. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you do have to put the S. I took that back.
Yeah. See, so
No. Yeah. Yeah. And then you come up at the beginning. You're like at the top. And then the next thing is your Kickstarter that comes up, and then your Facebook.
Right.
Let's talk about your Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a collection of really sexy watches, and you think to yourself, let's go to Kickstarter. I spent all my money on tooling and research and development.
That's about right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean every dollar.
And then, did you do any prep work when it comes to your Kickstarter campaign? Did you check the water temperature before you jumped in, or did you?
Yeah, absolutely. When I jumped in, there was still there's a couple of campaigns that have been really successful, and it was still really like a hot thing on Kickstarter. And when I got there, it was still pretty hot, but every month there's more and more watch campaigns that go up on Kickstarter. So I was lucky enough back then to only go up against like one or two at the same time, which put me in a good spot. But the Kickstarter is definitely a lot of work. So most people don't really realize how much work goes into that. I think I did like 16 drafts of just printing out the sheets and the pictures and just redoing stuff like so many times just to make sure that it was perfect. The video took weeks editing with my friend Miles, who really helped me out a lot with that video. Yeah, so and it was kind of just a crapshoot. I had a Facebook page going, and people were really digging the watches, and they're like, "Oh, when are you gonna launch these?" And so I really didn't do a whole lot of promotion on other channels. It was just really the social media and the Facebook, and then once I launched it, we reached the goal, and here we are.
That's awesome.
Yeah, people don't realize how and we've interviewed a lot of different people that's had Kickstarters or are currently doing Kickstarters, and we always tell them from our experience, we always tell them that like get out there on social media, especially if they haven't done it before, and because
Oh God, yeah.
a lot of people just like you, and they've said that like, yo, that's a lot of work. I mean, even both Jack and Carlos has done Kickstarters, right? And they tell people all the time, because the people don't realize that, yo, you gotta hustle that hashtag like for like the whole time, right, Carlos? You can't stop.
Let me break the news to you guys. Your family, they'll kick in just enough to, because they want to support your dreams and stuff, and they want to see you succeed, obviously.
Yeah.
Your friends are the next level out. Not all of them are going to kick in, because not all of them have the money to, or not all of them care. And then you go out to your social networks. If you don't have a social network, it's an uphill climb, and you got roller skates on.
And short shorts.
And short shorts.
Wait, what?
That shit is icy.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, because now you're like the guy who's on the corner asking for money for this great idea he has, but that person doesn't know you from the dude that was behind you at the checkout. So now you have to, like, if you don't have a good social network, or you don't build one, or your friends don't help share your stuff out, like, it's like you need more eyes on your stuff, so that out of the 100 eyes that see it, 25 of them kickstart you, and help you out, So it's just a numbers game.
We've said this on the show quite a few times. There's a lot of really good ideas out there that just don't get funded, just because the approach is so completely wrong, or they're doing it and they're not actually ready, or like, Justin, describe your approach when you were trying to do the marketing for the campaign. Describe how hard it is to get out there and tell people about it every single day.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's really like a full-time job. You're pretty much talking to people, interacting, sending messages. You have questions all day long, and you just have to keep sharing your links, just looking at everything, browsing forums, and I mean, I did a lot of Facebook ads, so.
Did that seem to help you?
Yeah, I think it would. It definitely did. I mean, I spend a lot of money through Facebook just to get new customers, and it's been pretty lucrative for me. But I mean, yeah, it's you can only go so far with your friends and family. And I told everyone at the beginning, I was like, you know what, I don't expect $1 from you. If I want to make it, I want to make it on my own, and I don't want like people just to buy it just because it's me. Obviously that makes me feel good, and I like that, but
It's not a,
You
it's
know,
not a real
I don't
sell
want
to
to.
you. Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't really help me. That's like just saying that, oh, you're doing a great job. That's really great. If I'm not doing a great job, it's like I want to be able to make it, know that my business is viable and not just floating on, friends' help net per se. But so I've never really counted that like when I think that, oh, well, I'm gonna have 10 friends that buy stuff. Like I don't really like count that when I'm doing my numbers and stuff in my head, and on the spreadsheets and stuff. Like it's not like a guaranteed thing for me because nothing's guaranteed.
And speaking of numbers, what were your numbers on once your Kickstarter ended? Like, how well did you do on Kickstarter?
So here's the trick. Now, on Kickstarter, it says that I made, I think it's like $52,000. Now, I don't really remember that number because here's the thing. Now, when the money started rolling in,
right,
I didn't see $52,000. I didn't see anything near $52,000. I think I got $44,500 out of the 52 that were pledged. Now, what happened with a lot of that is just bad credit cards, just people buying stuff and saying they'll buy this, buy that.
Oh, snap. So is Kickstarter counting every time somebody pledged and signed up with some type of card, but not if it actually...
Right.
If it actually
doesn't charge the card until after the campaign is done.
Right.
So a lot of people had, maxed out cards or whatever, and didn't get it taken care of, and you go through a 2-week period of where the money starts trickling in. And at first, I was really nervous because I saw the first day or two, I saw $20,000. I'm like, uh-oh. That's going to be a problem if I don't have the rest because I'm not going to be able to buy other people watches. So, I mean, I was sweating a little bit for a while there, and yeah, so luckily got a 44, which, by the way, is not the entire order price. So,
so what did you do then? Based off of how many orders you got in, you then made an order. So now you're worried. Now you're wondering if you're going to be able to cover the order that you've made. Is that what happened?
Yeah. So when I placed the order initially with a little bit of a loan, and so that got the ball rolling. So I actually, like a fool almost, had enough confidence in my own Kickstarter, everything, my watches, Kickstarter, to place the order before I had the money. I had a little bit put the cart before the horse, mainly because I wanted people to not have to wait too long to get their watches, and I knew it was like a 4 or 5 month period, and I said, you know what, F it, I'm just gonna go for it, and if I fail, I'll go down, burning. So. Luckily enough, I was able to make it work, but that was a pretty risky business.
Just to make it rain.
Yeah, I put about 18,000 on the line, and if it didn't work, they were gonna just give them to someone else. So.
Wow, nice. Well, look, no guts, no glory, right? In terms of that. I can't say that now, but I'm like, oh, that's.
Because
I was sweating.
Those are the things. Right. That situation that you just talked about, you never hear about. Yeah, you made your campaign, you made your goal, but what about the folks that don't have room on their credit card? What do you do?
Yeah. And really, I visited a bank a couple weeks ago, and I said, hey guys, these are my numbers. I've made money for the last 2 years. Can you help out? And they said, look, good for you. We like what you're doing, but what are we going to do if you can't pay that debt? We're certainly not going to take 400 watches from you, So they pretty much said, sorry, you're kind of screwed. No one really wants to lend to the, watchmaker. It's not a real... the risk is pretty high with that, I guess. I don't know. At least that's what the loan manager said.
So is that a threshold thing, or in terms of your age, and then that type of business they feel is not, worth investing in, or is that just the bank being the dick?
I mean, the guy I met with was pretty nice, but he was also kind of a dick because he was like, "Oh, for sure we're gonna get you the money, for sure, no problem." And that was when I first talked to him. And then he must have talked to someone upstairs because like every time after that he was like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna need like this, and I'm actually gonna need you to like file your taxes now." And at first it was always like it was just like, "Oh yeah, bring us this and that," and it doesn't really matter. Like, so now I just freaking hoard cash, and can't really do anything on credit. So
be rich if you give it all away.
Yeah, exactly. So every time, and I'm actually getting ready to do another order here pretty soon. So my bank account's gonna feel the hurt.
It's always interesting with banks, right, Carlos? Like,
yeah, one of
the tight.
They would love to give money because they're going to be getting paid interest. That's how banks make money.
Mm-hmm.
However,
of course,
to be smart, you have, like Justin said, you have 400 watches. A bank doesn't want to go grab 400 watches and then all of a sudden have 400 watches sitting in their offices. So, you open up a bank account of,
get a free watch.
free watch. They don't want to do that.
Yeah, right. What if no?
Open that
and
money
they don't
market
want to
account,
sell them. They
get
don't,
So it sucks because we want to see you succeed, but unless if this was Bankers Weekly, they'd be like, keep your watches, dude.
Have you looked into those online versions of loans and stuff like that? What is it called? They're like almost like crowdsourcing, but for loans. What we talked about?
I know what you're talking about,
Carlos.
I know what you're talking about, but I haven't. And I think the interest is just too high, and the dollar amount that I'd be asking. I would want to realistically, take out like a $40,000 loan, but and that's just I would just rather not do it if I can't get it from a bank.
What are some of the other challenges when it comes to trying to start your own watch brand?
Well, I'd have to say the biggest challenge is pricing for me, because you can go to Tissot, which is under Swatch Group, one of the biggest group manufacturers in the entire world, and you can get a watch that's going to be better quality, have a better movement, whatever, for less money. And the reality is, the economies of scale play greatly into watch production. And, the hardest part is really, like, figuring out how to make it and sell in retail with the competing brands that are able to make thousands and thousands of watches at much lower prices because they have the money to. So I think that's really the hardest part, is to how to justify your price point to your customer, and when they know
they got
what other things. Yeah,
that makes sense. And then how about like the reputation that a Rolex has? Is there like a bunch of watch snobs that look at watches and why would I ever pay blah 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 for a Blacklist watch when I could go get this thing from Swatch Watch?
Oh yeah, there's always those kind of people,
right?
And you're gonna find a lot of those people on the forums. They're gonna be sitting in their underwear just scheming to hate, and they're gonna say, "Oh, I found this on eBay for $13.75, and can you do $12?" And and it's just like, dude, you don't know what it takes to actually do this. Like, it's not easy. It's not. If it was easy, everyone would do it. So.
Right.
And the capital is just outrageous, because you're talking about 500 watches at a couple, between $100 $200 per watch. I mean, you're looking at my next run's going to be upwards of $100,000 just to get the minimum quantity ordered here, which is just outrageous.
Yeah.
So have you found that like having your business online has helped? Because I know, I mean, I'm a big fan of watching, you know, the shows like Shark Tank and other ones where they're helping business owners get started and stuff like that. And like a lot of times, I think what you've done correctly so far is not trying to go into a brick and mortar store, because then you're just adding a bunch of other like headaches, right? I'm sure that's crossed your mind at one point, but how's your decision with going online? And you think that's best for your business, or have you looked into maybe even like, you know, sending your brands out to other retailers, or how does that work?
So, I mean, as far as like watches and like retailers, and it's extremely hard to get your watch into a retailer. It's pretty much these people are, you know, to even speak with a buyer for, say, Macy's. I mean, you'd have to know someone, because they're having thousands of brands come at them every year saying, hey, our stuff's the best, you know, sell it for us. So, I mean, when you're starting out, really the only way you can do it, unless you know someone or your product is just a breakthrough innovation, is to do it online, direct channel sales. And I have been approached by more like deal websites. I did a campaign with a website called Touch of Modern, and which was very, very successful for me, and actually allowed me to exist, because I had some watches stuck in Switzerland still that I didn't have the money to pay for. Yeah, so I mean, online is pretty much where it's at right now. I'd really like to get into the brick and mortars. I've been speaking with a couple of small boutique style
that sounds
shops.
interesting. Yeah,
I just haven't pulled the trigger on anything like that yet, because once you start and you get that going, like, you're gonna have to deal with a lot more stress, because these people are gonna want things from you. They're gonna want socials. They're gonna want deliverables, like goods that they can use to promote. So it's I'd be a lot busier dealing with that, and but you know, if the money was there, then I would definitely pursue that, and I'm going to pursue it with this next model more so than my last one. So
the boutique one sounds very interesting.
Right.
Elite, trendy stores, trendy startups that like actually have a demographic that they cater to, that actually, and a community that comes in, you know. And you seem to do, you know, limited run watches, so, you know, having a run of 4 watches, even if you wanted to be really, really, really like tight on it, 4 watches are only going to be these 4 for this boutique, and once they're sold out, they're gone, and then tell them maybe we'll do another run to the general public, you know, people. So when they see it again, they're like, oh, we know that's not going to be here forever, and no one else is going to have that, you know. That might be, you know, that sounds very, very interesting. So that sounds cool. You're saying you're looking into the boutique.
Actually, I mean, I was approached by one company in the UK. Fun fact: the UK is actually my biggest market. About 75% of my watches go overseas to the UK. Oh, wow. And they came at me, and they wanted to purchase some watches to test out in their brick and mortar. And I said, okay, you know, like, let's figure out how we're going to deal with the payment. And that's something that is interesting, is payment overseas. Now, most people want to do bank transfers and stuff like that, and they like wouldn't agree with me on some terms, and it just didn't end up working out. They wanted to send all the watches, and then send like a 50% deposit, and that's really where, like, I don't want to fool around is payment and stuff like that, because you just never know with people. And if you're working like overseas, what am I going to do? Fly over to the UK and try to get some money back? It's, you know, that's where things start getting real sticky. So
yeah.
Especially homie don't play that game. So.
especially if they're trying to take advantage, because your new brand or whatever. Maybe they think they can get something over you with their lawyers or something. In terms of you sending watches and they never sending payment and they selling them in their stores, so they got free product. Yeah, you don't want anything like that.
No. So hopefully I'll be picked up by bigger brands. But I've had a lot of success with Touch of Modern. I've done a second campaign with them, and they're really interested in my brand. Their demographic is exactly what my brand aligns with.
Touch of Modern is great.
I was gonna say
Best thing that could happen. Yeah.
Here's a big surprise. I've bought.
No. What? What are you gonna say?
And I completely agree with you. That relationship is almost a match made in heaven.
I mean, I'm always getting new stuff from that site, and people go there to get something different, so they want to see something different, so that's great.
Yeah, no, I mean I talked to them a lot. I actually went down there and visited their facility. It's really interesting. When I went down there, they had about 30 people packed in one giant room, and elbows to elbows. Yeah, I mean it was really interesting. And they were all sitting in front of a computer, and they literally had stuff piled up, just stuff from different companies. The companies sent them samples, this, that. I mean, just as much stuff as you could imagine. And I was like, wow, all this stuff's really cool. And I met with one of the senior. Yeah, I wish. I met with one of the senior product buyers. His name is Kyle, and he showed me around, came down, and wanted to meet with me and check out the watches, which was really cool. And fortunately, I don't live very far away, so I was able to do that. But yeah, they're just a great group of folks down there. And I really look forward to working with them with this next model.
Where's Modern based out of?
San Francisco.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I gotta stay off this site because every time I go,
you want to buy something, right? I see things all the time. I'm just like looking at it, like, wow, that's really freaking cool.
Dude, I get the emails.
Right? The nice scrolling emails. I will open up a Touch of Modern email. You think, oh, it's just spam after a while, but nah, it's great.
Touch of Modern would be able to know how much money I have in the bank. Because if I have plenty, I'll click on the email and I'll take a look around. If I don't have any, I just delete it right away. I'm like, I'm too broke for this because I know I'm gonna want to buy something.
Oh, I hate it when they send the luxury ones. I feel like they just send them to me and like taunting me. They're like, "Hey, here's a bunch of Rolexes. Buy me."
They were selling like a yacht or some personal boat on there one time, and I'm like, "What?
Yeah,
who's buying this off a website?"
Yeah,
they sell some crazy stuff, but then again, you go down and you look at the luxury watches and all that stuff. It's like $14,000 sold out. Someone straight up bought a $14,000 watch on this site, sight unseen.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's crazy. I actually talked to him about that. It's funny because I talked to Kyle. I said, "Hey, you're gonna hook me up on a Rolex?" He said, "Well, off the record, you got the money and I can help you out." He said that they have this like one guy who just buys so many of these used watches, and they just stick them all in this giant vault, and just sell. Oh, they sell so many of those used Rolexes, Omegas, anything luxury, they'll buy it. And
check on eBay.
Maybe that's what I really need to go into business is just buying and selling these watches to Touch of Modern or something. I don't know. But they buy a crap ton.
I'm weird too. Like I'm weird on other stuff too. Like I'll just be looking at like button-up shirts. It's just weird. It's like I feel like it's like the new version of QVC, right? like for the artist and techie and like trendy fashionista person. Like I'm like I could totally buy that shirt. That'd be great. It's only $70. Crazy.
Back to your business prowess. Mm-hmm. You went to school for business marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Your school then reached back out to you to say, "Hey, can you come talk to our new knuckleheads about business?"
Yeah. Definitely,
How did
yeah.
that come about? And then talk about your experience talking to people about all your hard work.
So, in business school in SSU, everyone takes this class. It's Business 360. It's marketing, general marketing. It's the first business class you really take that introduces you to marketing. Everyone has to take it. Anything in the business realm, you have to take that class. It's a class of about 250, and it's in this giant hall. I took it. Teacher was really great, and didn't really talk much to him when I was in the class. I was already doing all the stuff that I was doing, and didn't really reach out to anyone, which I probably should have, but worked out. And one day I go to him because he has to sign something off so I can graduate or something like that, and he says, and we start talking. I said, oh yeah, well I got this like small watch company, and he says, oh, what do you mean watch company? And I was like, well yeah, I mean I started this little watch company design and blah blah, and started chatting. He's like, hey, you should come and do a thing in my marketing class. And I was like, okay. And it's funny because when I was before I actually got to SSU, I was at the junior college. And I waited till the last semester to take a speech class. I was scared shitless of taking speech. I don't know why. I just didn't like talking in front of people. Strangely enough, I was voted the best speaker in the class. I don't know why. I still don't know why. But
Because everyone else was
anyways,
from a different country.
yeah, man, who knows? But yeah, right. Yeah, everyone else from different countries, Chinese and whatnot, couldn't even understand them. But so I go into this big, giant class, and it's a little intimidating because it's not like in a normal classroom. It's in the Green Music Center, which is just huge. And just start speaking to these guys and talking about social media and the importance of all that, and like different ways you can market products using Kickstarter. And it was really cool because usually when I was in the class, I'd be like digging around on my phone and fooling around and looking at girls and whatnot, and everyone seemed to be pretty attentive, which was nice. So I guess it's different if one of your peers is telling you like you can do this because you did it. So it was a really cool experience to be able to like talk to people that we're going to school for something, and maybe the light at the end of the tunnel seems kind of far, especially when you still have 2 more years to go. So
Yeah.
I did that a couple of times, and I always had a group of people after I got done speaking, like asking me questions. I would stay after for an hour and just answer questions and chat with people, and
Yeah, that's pretty neat. And it's a way of giving back too.
Sure. Yeah, I really like doing it. So hopefully I'll be able to do that more in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they get more out of it when they see someone their age.
Right.
One of the things, even now when I'm working and beforehand, that I got to be on both sides of the coin. So even when I was teaching, but before that, when I was just working in the industry, they take a day off and go over to a college and talk to somebody. They get so much more, and you don't even understand even when the professors are saying thanks for coming, and I say it every day, but they don't listen. I got that end of it later on. Even if you have the years of experience, if you're teaching them and they see you every day, but then they have a guy that comes in and that's younger that says the same thing, students tend to just soak it up because it feels more relatable, if you will, and they take
Right.
they take people more seriously. So I think I always encourage professionals to go back and talk because people will listen. They just don't like listening to their
Absolutely,
professor.
100%. No. Yeah. Yeah.
No one does, right? At the time.
Yeah, I mean, they know their stuff, but it's different when you can hear someone that's like applied the concepts that they're teaching to something. And that's always something that I always thought about, was like they're teaching these concepts, but
Yeah.
then I come in and connect the dots. So it's cool.
Well, even with your marketing and stuff like that, and your social media work that you've done, even continuing now, have you? What do you do? Because I'm looking on your site now, and like I'm seeing that like you don't really have any models or anything, any kind of branding that way. It's just the watches in the natural environment. Have you ever thought about kind of going into ads for like magazines or like, tech magazines, stuff like that? Maybe even models or something like that in terms of marketing. What is your approach with showing your watches and how you have the marketing? Do you do the photography yourself? Do you hire people? How's that work in terms of like branding the watch and showing it off?
Well, I've never really done much of like hiring models or anything like that. Partly because I'm just cheap. It's I don't really want to pay someone to model them. And I mean, have you seen these wrists? These are beautiful. So
Nice.
I don't really need to pay anyone. But yeah, on my business card it actually says executive wrist model. But yeah, I mean, I really I think that I took a lot of the imagery just from looking at like some of the higher end websites. Like, oh, what do they do? If they don't have a picture of someone wearing it, then chances are I'm not going to. But on the socials and stuff, you can see me trying them on, and even like taking them out of the box. I do some YouTube videos of like unboxing, which is really popular. Putting it on and showing people like how it actually fits, because when buying something online, it's kind of a crapshoot. So I really wanted to make that like an experience for people where they could see like exactly how it works on someone.
I know you do your own photography. How did you get into that? How did you learn? How did you know what equipment to get?
So I do most of my own photography. The last run I hired out some stuff, which kind of sucks because I changed the designs and got new samples made, and now I can't use any of that photography. So I pretty much decided that I'm never going to hire out photography again. Because I spent thousands of dollars on pictures that I just can't even use. It's not even like a paperweight where you have a physical object. It's just like an image that's saved on your computer that reminds you how much money you spent. So
just there.
yeah, it's just there, and it's taking up space. So I mean, yeah, I started getting into the photography when I realized how much watch photographers actually make, which is ridiculous. So yeah, if you think that those National Geographic guys make some money, well, watch photography can go upwards $300 a picture. So
Picture.
yeah, it gets pretty wild. Yeah, just for like a plain white picture with the background, just plain white with the watch. It's just nuts.
Come by me. I'll do that for $250.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
I'll do 249.
I keep telling all these photographers. I tell every photographer I meet, hey, get into watch photography because you'll make a freaking killing. And none of them take my advice, but that's all right.
Yeah. Oh well. So you went from photography. You started doing videography. You started making your own commercials for Kickstarter and stuff like that. Can you talk about that real fancy car you had?
Yeah. So that I actually did not shoot. I didn't do any of that. I was just the model because I don't like paying for models, so I'll just do it. And I mean, the wrists and all that stuff. So I shot this video with this car, and the car that we used was a McLaren P1, and It's not just any McLaren P1. It was the 007, which the owner let us know that he paid a lot of money extra to get the serial number 007. But yeah, it was kind of a weird thing. I just, with someone that has a $2 million car, they don't really like things. Like they have everything they want, so you couldn't really like pay someone to be like, hey, let me shoot with your car. They'd just be like, you don't have enough money. So I knew a guy who directed the video that knew him and shot for him, like pictures, and he hit him up and was like, "Hey, can we like do this during a time that works for you?" And the guy was super cool. His name is Nadeem, we just like shot with his freaking $2 million car for like 4 or 5 hours, and it was super cool. He just hung out and like walked around Treasure Island, and while we were like sitting in there, you know, trying to move this red camera around inside of a $2 million car without scratching anything. And yeah, so it was pretty fun. And getting in and out of that car, let me tell you, was a pain. Because it's like, oh my God, don't kick the steering wheel. That's like a $30,000 steering wheel. Oh God. It was
Oh, man.
a little nerve-wracking just sitting in it, because like if I scratch it, I can't even afford to fix the scratch. So
who was it that sat in it and actually gave it?
I sat in it.
Did you give it gas and burn out?
Oh hell no!
You crazy.
Oh God!
You crazy. Burn out on
Oh. No, but he did. The owner did. He launched that car, and yeah. I mean, in terms of depreciation, in like what it actually costs to launch a car like that, it was probably like $5,000 or $10,000 just to do that. I mean, it's just to put the stress on that car, and like, you know, it was just crazy. It was just really cool.
Were you in the car when he gave it gas? Like.
No, I wasn't.
No, because I was trying.
Bummer.
I was trying to get to the
field.
To like. So okay, what is it? The Toyota Supra. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Story time.
Wow. It's back.
I was living in Chicago, and a buddy of mine belonged to the Supra, a Toyota Supra car group.
Sure.
And so I went and I was looking at him. I was like, yeah, and I looked at I looked at one of the guys. I was like, yeah, but like, how fast is this thing really? At the end of the day, it's a Toyota. He goes, get in.
Oh, why'd you say that?
Oh yeah, he's not playing. Those things are fast.
So we're at the red light. It turned green and he punched it, and I swear to you, my heart touched my spine and bounced back into place.
Nice.
So, and it was just like one block.
Right.
We were hauling for one block, and that was that. And I was like, okay, I'm good. I need.
Sorry, I doubted you.
Well played, Toyota.
Oh yeah, those are highly sought after, even now, even still. I mean, shoot, we were at an airstrip attack where they do a half mile, and some guy had like a 1,100 horsepower one, and it went 195 miles an hour in the half mile. I mean, it had like a parachute on the back. It was just unreal fast.
That's awesome.
Of unreal.
What's up?
Ooh.
It's that time again.
Justin from blacklistwatches.com. Welcome to This or That.
Uh-oh. What's that?
I'm gonna name off two things, and you pick the one. And if you feel like you need to support your argument, feel free to do so. Otherwise, you're gonna pick one or the other.
Right? Had a lot of that lately.
What if I feel the need to phone a friend? We got a lifeline?
That's a new one.
That's fine. You get 3 lifelines.
Okay.
Poll the audience. This or that. I know that you do your own photography. Well, most of your own photography. So Nikon or Canon?
Canon. I know it's gonna hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. Sometimes. Here we go. You have started your own watch brand. Do you like to be late or do you like to be early?
There's a correct answer here.
I I like to come first.
Easy, easy. This is a family show.
So I'd say early.
Good one, though.
I'm always early or on time.
All right, let's see. You design your own watches. So what do you prefer? Daylight savings or standard time?
You serious?
I'm gonna go with standard time.
Attaboy. Light the power. All right. Apple Watch or Rolex?
Really?
I don't know.
Rolex, of course.
Talk to me when Rolex can check my email. Well played.
Rolex pays people to check its email for it.
How about it?
Boom.
Yeah. People who own Rolexes don't generally need to check their email.
Yeah. Their assistant's job.
All right. Swiss-made watches or watching Swiss misses?
Well, I can't say I've done the second, so I'm gonna go with the first.
All right, Swiss-made watches it is. All right, this is my last one.
Oh.
Blacklistwatches.com. Justin, would you rather whip or would you rather nay-nay?
You so stupid.
Oh man, I would absolutely rather whip. I actually got one in the closet. You can get it out.
All right, it's after 10, folks. It's adult time.
Excuse me?
All right, he would rather whip than nay-nay. So that, my friend, is how we play this or that.
That's fun.
There you go. I'm gonna need to come up with a. Here we go. Thanks for playing this or that. I need to get an
Give it a little work.
outro. I need to get an outro for that because it's so anticlimactic.
Boom, 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 boom. There it is.
I like that.
So let's talk about like the Apple Watches and the Google Watches and all that stuff. Let's talk about how technology is working its way into timepieces.
Okay.
Should we be that connected all the time? Is it ruining watches? Let's talk about where can we actually go with technology on our wrist? Is that just too much? Justin, as a watch designer, how do you feel about what do you see, or how do you react to every time Apple comes out with a new watch and Google comes out with a new watch?
Well, I think that there's going to be a section of the population of the market that don't care for the tech watches. They don't want the tech on the wrist. And I think that it's more of the older generations. But I think that mechanical watches are going to just be an heirloom piece, and they're going to stay around forever. I mean, I just can't see handing down an Apple Watch. I mean, are you going to hand down your VCR? It's just one of those things where it's like it's eventually will be so obsolete and it's not like it's not timeless is what I'm really trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
You take this off and you look in the back, and it's got a little rotor that moves. It's automatic. It moves with your wrist, and it can literally live forever with the proper maintenance, of course. and it's the technology is not changing. This technology that is inside these watches, maybe the tolerances are getting better, and maybe you could tell a little bit better time, but really the technology is not changing. It's going to be the same, and that keeps it relevant. So your Apple Watch in 10 years, people are going to look at you and it'd be like whipping out your cell phone and you having a razor or something. It'd be silly. You just wouldn't have it. It's like back then the razor was cool as hell, but now it's just no one has one. It's stupid.
Yeah, everybody had to have that big old sidekick.
Oh yeah, and that too. That's obsolete. So it's going to be like one of those things where it's cool if you're upgrading every year, but in 10 years, the same Apple Watch you have on now is just going to be a paperweight. So.
Yeah, what you guys probably don't remember is when mobile phones were actually called car phones because they were phones literally in your car.
Yeah, I remember my dad had one that had a little leather case for it.
Yeah.
He used to carry it out.
Yeah. And that was, you literally had to be rich because I think it was like $25,000 a minute.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Oh, yeah, at the beginning of the very first ones, yeah.
$5 a text.
And to Justin's point, watches that were made back then are probably still alive. You don't need an operating system upgrade. You don't need just a little dusting and a little cleaning, a little oil here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing. Jack, what do you think about all of this technology on our wrist, and how is it affecting us? Is it good, bad? Does it even matter?
Well, of course it affects us. There's some good things about it. There's some terrible things about it, but I think the point is correct that technology ages much quicker, especially now. It's like an exponential aging process where stuff goes obsolete even faster and faster. It's like that VCR lasted you a good 10, 12 years, and now we're running through watches and phones at half a year pace. So
yeah,
it's cool, but that thing's going to be outdated in the next 2 years, and you're not going to be able to pass it down. So I would agree with him there. But there's obviously a benefit and an importance to technology, to pushing it along, and I think being more and more connected is the way of the future, and it's kind of the way things are going until we get to implants and bionics and all that sort of crazy stuff. But I think that
gets real.
Yeah. But watches are jewelry, right? At the end of the day, they're jewelry. I have worn one that doesn't even work. So,
nice.
Well, you do.
You
can, yeah. So you don't really do that with an Apple Watch, because as soon as somebody sees it, you can't be like, yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
It's not a fashion statement per se. It's a tool.
Right.
And that's, I've seen Apple Watches out in the wild, especially out in Silicon Valley, where everyone is wearing something like that. And it's weird to see someone's hand go up and then their watch turns on. And every time they move up, their watch turns on. So instead of, I'm naturally looking at someone in their eyes when I'm speaking to them, but then when they move their hand up, that little light turns on, and I move every single time. My eyes are moving towards that watch, and it's driving me crazy. To tell you the truth. Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to make it not do that while you're talking. Could you imagine me with an Apple Watch? That thing would run out of battery in like 2 hours. I'd be like...
You'd be giving light shows.
Yeah. A bunch of kids are starting to foam at the mouth and having seizures and stuff because of the laser light show. Not a good time. But where would watches... Like now, watches take your pulse. They check your blood pressure, I think. They can see, like, what is next for a watch? Or is it going to be one of those situations where the pendulum is all the way there? Okay, the watch is all up in my body. Is it going to start making its way back to the simplicity?
All up in the yeah.
All up in my body. Yeah, you got it.
I think you nailed it.
A watch is a part of me.
Could you imagine?
You see, yeah,
I
this is
think-
like a little glowing part on your wrist.
Let's investigate that, because now you guys got my brain going.
Here we-
What if they started implanting us with watches? BPT? Brown people time?
He's-
That thing would be buzzing all the time.
just-
Maybe the watch would be like, come on, let's go. Come on, let's go. No. 5 more minutes.
Oh my god.
Um, it'd be
That's a thing, huh?
For some folks, it is, yes. And
So-
overwhelmingly.
I don't know, but
another one.
Now,
Third time.
third time.
I was just in Colombia, just probably last month or something, and my boss said,
Shakira.
I need everyone to be in the office at 8:30. So everyone from Silicon Valley showed up at 8:25, whatever. We need enough time to get our coffee set up, get ready to go. People from Colombia rolled in at 10. And then my boss walked in. He goes, I thought I asked you guys to be here at 8:30. The kid literally said, Colombians don't believe in time.
You said it with a straight face?
As serious as a heart attack.
no.
What?
Wow.
You can only get away with that in
You gotta get him a watch.
Right. So I showed him my Blacklist watch. And I said, you need one of these.
The official timekeeper.
That's it.
That's amazing. He actually is like, we don't need no time. Whatever. You, my friend, are actually late.
You don't need no stinking timepiece. All right, kids. I'm going to leave you with, unless we have any more questions for Justin.
I'm good.
Yeah. I'm going to leave you with this one last question.
Uh-oh.
What is the difference between a peeping Tom and a pickpocket?
Well,
What?
Peeping Tom would have something like this. Maybe looking.
Look at him. What are those, your reading glasses?
This is what I inspect watches with.
Really?
Dick. So what's that?
And
Is that kind of like what a diamond cutter would wear?
That's
whatever
like,
you want it to be.
that's like what Doc Brown came up from in Back to the Future. With the big eyeball and everything. It totally is.
Oh yeah.
I like it.
You can see everything. You guys are like super magnified.
You poor child.
What? You don't think this is attractive? This is my main picture on my Tinder profile. It's like, hello ladies, I see you.
Let's say swipe. What is it? Swipe left or right?
I don't know. The one that says yes all the time.
All right. So back to my question. What is the difference between a peeping Tom and a pickpocket?
Couldn't tell you. I'm not a peeping Tom.
But you are a pickpocket? Are you admitting to
Yeah.
that?
You got a pocket to pick?
You have to focus. You have to focus. The difference between a peeping Tom and a pickpocket is a pickpocket snatches watches.
Okay. No.
Yeah.
No.
Like, I'm done. Here.
That's
Crickets in
a family show.
Not yet.
This is a family show.
Oh god. It's too much.
We're shutting this down right now.
Charlie B. Williams, if people are looking where to find you.
Well,
No. Justin Eterovich. Eterovich. If people are looking for you and your products, where can they find you?
Or if they want to snatch a watch.
If you want to snatch a watch, come
I
find me.
had to carefully say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You tried to pull it back, dude. He's like, maybe no. No snatch it.
He hit me with the crickets even before the punchline came out. Good God.
He did with the quickness. Like the red button.
Bad.
Yes, sir. So if people are looking for you and your watches, where can they find
If
you?
you're looking for me, you can find me www.blacklistwatches.com, at blacklistwatches on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you name it, I'm on it. And say what's up.
Find them, y'all. These watches are no joke. I'm telling you.
Nice watches.
I hope my grandkids like analog watches because they're getting this when they grow up, when I pass away.
Analog. They're not gonna know how to read it.
It's
gonna be
what
like
are those
that thing-
numbers.
It's gonna be like that thing in the Time Machine where he had like the discs. Woo!
And Charlie B. Williams III, if people are looking for you, where can they find you?
If you're looking for me, you can find me on my website, which is www.cargocollective.com/Charlie B. Williams. You can find me on Facebook at CharlieBW3, Instagram CharlieBW3, and Twitter CBW3. I'm on any one of those. Check me out, guys.
Yeah, son, Jack, Casper, Zach, if people are looking for you.
I'm at sketchbookjack.com and sketchbookjack everywhere else. Pinterest, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, probably other stuff too that I can't think of.
Ta-da.
Very nice. Thank you all for being here.
Yep.
And you know what time it is.
That's right!
Come on down!
We're giving away a brand new Sketch Wallet!
What?
Do is draw a picture, put it on Instagram or Twitter. Use the, what is it? Use at Sketch Wallet. Okay, so you have to have these three things in there because we need to know that you're actually doing this. You need to at Coconut Justice, at Sketch Wallet, hashtag Sketch Zone.
And you could be the proud winner of this Sketch Wallet!
Made out of 100%? Not 100%, and that's as paper.
Yeah, no.
Made out of U.S. leather. Comes with this fancy box. And if you don't enter, you won't win.
You got real country on that last one. I thought I was like getting sold a pig or something. It was good. I liked it.
Sold a pig. What?
Because you were like, Sketch Wallet.
Sketch Wallet. That's how he used to do it back in the day. I am Carlos Gomez. You can find me at carlosrgomez.com, or if you're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, or Behance, check me out. Coconut Justice. That's your boy. This has been the Sketch Zone podcast. You can find us at sketch.zone. Hey, if you want to hear from someone else, like my boy Justin there, you know, he's an interesting kid. Started his own company, started designing watches. If you know someone like that, a little creative, you know what I mean? Send them our way. Go to sketch.zone/guest. If you're on Twitter, take a look at us at SketchZone. Facebook.com/TheSketchZone. YouTube.com/SketchZonePodcast. And you can always find us on Stitcher, SoundCloud, and of course on iTunes. And hey, while you're on iTunes, leave us a Charlie review. Thank you. If you're on iTunes, leave us a review. We will read it on the air. That's right, folks. You could get some exposure on Sketch Zone Podcast. Go ahead and leave us a little feedback on iTunes.
You are going to get us blackballed on YouTube.
So there. That's it for me. That's it for us. Everyone, get out there, be nice, have a wonderful week.
See you guys.
Au revoir.
Thank you for having me, everyone.